Hello, Internet friends. Welcome back once again, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to talk quite a bit about the training footage. I hope, anyway, in this particular video, you're going to be watching some footage from the end of last week and so far this week. So we are sitting about, I want to say, 3 weeks out from the Washington State USAPL Championships in Tacoma on February 20th. Very excited for this meet. Feeling, at least at this point, feeling very good, pretty solid going into um, the first competition I've done, and it will be over a year, I think, by the time we get to actual meet day. So it's uh, I'm very anxious, I'm nervous. That isn't something that goes away when you've been doing this for years, or at least it shouldn't if you're still excited about what you're doing and trying to push yourself. Goals for this meet, I don't want to call any specific numbers, but the idea is to um, try to just acclimate myself to the USAPL environment. It's been a long time since I've competed in that Fed, and this will be my first full competition in that federation. And I know they have strict standards, and so I'm just doing my best to try and make sure all my lifts are going to be clean, and make sure that I can go in, have a good time, and just try to execute. I absolutely trust the preparation that Eric and Hanny have put me through, and something I was thinking about, and you're going to see it in this video, is I hit a pretty big deadlift coming up that breaks down some mental barriers I've had. But it is so helpful to have an objective voice, and it's not necessarily always the biggest benefit to have someone there to push you, because a lot of people are self-motivated and can push themselves plenty hard. I think that in the past I've definitely embraced that characteristic about myself, that I just will keep pushing myself, and the biggest benefit that I've really seen is having an objective voice who isn't afraid to tell you to take a few breaths, calm down, be patient, and almost to intentionally hold you back. And I'm not saying that like, oh, they're holding me back, I'm never going to reach my potential, but I definitely feel like I would have hit a lot of PRs in this training block and have been less prepared for the meet if I didn't have someone there who was structuring it in a way that focuses more on working and building other than testing. A lot of times, hitting PRs frequently in your training, yeah, it's a symbol that says, okay, things are potentially working, or I'm at a higher place than I was at this other point. But the context is really important. You have to make sure that you're doing the work that is necessary at that time frame and that it matches up with what your goal is. Is your goal to hit some 5 or 6 rep PR on some particular weight, or is your goal to have your best performance possible on the meet day? And it's been a really helpful experience for me to challenge myself a little bit more, to just be more disciplined and to give the reins over to someone else. So I do want to say a huge thank you preemptively to Eric and Hanny. Regardless of what happens on the 20th, I am reinvigorated with my approach and with my passion for this sport. I have never been this all-encompassing focused on some goals that I've been developing. And honestly, I'm going to do my best at this meet in February, but the real meet is going to be in October, if assuming that qualifying goes well in February and going to nationals. And that's the real focus. But for right now, can't look past that. You're going to be watching here. This is the 730 pull that I got. Um, The reason I hold it so long at the top here is because I was honestly having a debate in my mind of whether or not it was worth the conversation with Eric and Hanny to put it down and have taken a second rep, because I absolutely feel like I could have done a very solid double, and I feel confident even that maybe a triple would have been there. But today is not that day. I don't care what my 3 rep deadlift PR is. I care what my meet deadlift is going to be on the day, and I am absolutely trusting the process and humbling myself to the work. You don't always need to test. You don't always need to find out what you can do. Trust the process and put in all that work that you do, and make sure that you focus on the other things. Focus on what you're doing outside the gym. Focus on your recovery, focus on your nutrition, focus on your mobility. And in my case, the first 2 sessions that you watched in this video are the most important sessions because they're the boring ones. They're the ones that I don't get excited about doing. They're the ones where I'm hitting reps and building up that volume tolerance and actually progressing the rest of it. So these other sessions, the double that you saw on my squat, the 590 with the back off doubles, 6 back off doubles of 545, those are heavy and have a purpose, but the real work is the end of the week when I'm feeling just beat down and don't really feel motivated to get back under the bar and be hitting sets of 4, which were sets of 7 or 8 in previous bits of the training block. And that's really where that work comes from. You have to keep your perspective. It's exciting to hit big weights. It's exciting to do things that are closer to the actual goal because it gives you this fulfillment feeling, but that's not where the work is usually done. It's usually done in the shadows. It's usually done in the non-flashy stuff that is actually going to build up your ability to perform, and then it all comes down to execution. So thank you guys for following along and joining me on this journey. I have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, not just related to this meet, but there are a few big announcements coming out in the near future, and when that happens, I'm excited to share it with you. So thank you all again, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.